Yeah, misunderstood discrepancies. That's a tough one. Aspies who are intelligent, they tend to sort of sound precocious, um, but still kind of be underdeveloped and kind of teenage-like in certain ways. So to the ignorant person who's just listening to the Aspie expressing themselves, it sounds as though the person is arrogant, and conceited and intense and all that kind of thing. But really, it just stems from a quest to understand and lots of hyperverbosity, so lots of words and um, you know, uh, lots of drive to express and a lot of aptitude in terms of the expression and the words, but there's still that underlying sort of emotional, teenageness, and that discrepancy is just really, really not understood, and it makes it really difficult for Aspies to access health care and things like that because there isn't a lot of precedented study on what to expect when it comes to communication in that way. You'd almost want to call it like a social communication difference. And, you know, even we ourselves are judgmental of ourselves when we listen to ourselves back in tape or, observe writings, especially, when I look at writings from when I was a lot younger and I was pretty verbose and, you know, had a lot to say and a lot of good points, but there was that sort of underlying polarized immaturity there. And that's part of that pervasive development, that sort of, um, again, that discrepancy between precocious brightness and intelligence and, verbosity and the emotional youngness kind of thing. So it's just too bad that that particular communication difference is so badly and so poorly understood in the system, because if it were understood, it's instantly attributed to like a personality defect, right? And it, in time we kind of what we say calm down or grow up in some ways, but and then we kind of even out, but in that interim we embark on a quest to try and get to answers and access help, and the way we communicate, makes it hard when it's not understood for what it is. And I think that's why a lot of us have had mental health misdiagnoses and personality disorder misdiagnoses and um, several other things that we might exhibit features of in times of stress and imbalance and that paradoxical intelligence. So I think more research really needs to be done in order to put more in precedent, in order to help us be understood in the systems and therefore access services without there being, bias and stuff that we can't help held against us. It's rough for the young Aspie, right? It's rough, and then by the time that we get to that stage of growing up, a lot of us have been kind of scarred from all of the misunderstanding, and then there's a new layer of scarring and PTSD that doesn't need to be there and wouldn't be there if it was for our communication discrepancies being better understood in the system and by particularly by clinicians and by professionals that are supposed to be there to help people and help people access services. And of course, what compounds that is the fact that a lot of these people are subjective and are biased, and the system just isn't objective, doesn't look at people as individuals with individual sets of challenges, whether it be someone who's Aspie, who tends to get the brunt of the misunderstanding, or anyone who's been marginalized, whether it be by abuse or trauma or, borderline personality features, interpersonal relationship traumas that cause people to have these differences in behavior that don't really reflect their inner soul and their heart, but reflect what they've been through and how they've tried to cope, and yeah, it's challenging. So if anything needs to happen, it's the research, the core research, and better, sort of more complex profiles of the Aspie, recorded, so that we realize that everybody will manifest, something like Asperger syndrome in their own way, with their own experience and their own personality type and the gender and whatnot. So anyway, yeah, communication discrepancies and social communication differences are tough right now for in terms of being understood. So